My job, in one sentence, is I sit and I wait for it all to go wrong.
We will take to the streets day after day and call forth others. We demand Trump Pence.
There's this thing emerging in the journalism industry called activism journalism or solutions journalism. You report alongside of different activist groups within different communities and you work on creating a better living condition for them. This collides with old school journalism because you are no longer unbiased. That doesn't mean you don't report the bad stuff that happens in that community and the bad stuff that happens within there, but you do work alongside with them to create a better atmosphere for this community. So protest journalism is a little bit, is closer to that than regular journalism, except you don't cling to a specific group. It is definitely an adrenaline rush. Part of that is good, part of that is bad. So yeah, no, the most chaotic event that I have been to was the January 6th Capitol siege, where I watched as a bunch of supporters of the president of the United States of that time stormed the most secure building of America and did it with relative ease, which is kind of astounding to me considering that I've been to protests before where I've seen like 50 cops surround like 75 protesters and like compress them so much to the point where like you had like 75 protesters in literally less than a block area. And during COVID, that's like Jesus.
Whoa there, man. Settle down.
I went there the night before with the knowledge that something was going to probably go wrong. The thought process was, okay, you have a group of people who may or may not feel privileged to certain degrees, who have been told by the person that they have vigorously supported for 4 years now, that they have been cheated out of something that is rightfully theirs. So I knew, being a gambling man, that something was going to go wrong. I have a lot to thank to Donald Trump. The past 4 years have been protest central, thanks to the man who can't shut up. It feels like every day that he says something so inflammatory that people just have to take to the streets. I think it has been a really interesting time to learn how to be a journalist. Journalists before, in America at least, there was a little bit of like, this is an industry that will always be around kind of thing, and it cannot be threatened by an American. Donald Trump came in and fundamentally changed that. And when I say fundamentally, I mean he shook that to the core. He showed the journalists of old that the press industry can still be shaken, it can still be stirred, it can still be recklessly denied access to anything it wants. But the fact that Donald Trump has come in and fundamentally said, I don't agree with it, so it's not true, really scared a lot of these older journalists, and rightfully so. But as a 18-year-old kid coming in, being like, I want to tell stories, and I want to tell stories that change the world, I didn't have that privilege of knowing that my job was not something that could be debated. And I kind of am grateful for that. It's also been a blessing because we've learned to fight for that, right? We have learned to fight for that right. We've learned to fight for what we believe in and tell the stories that we know to be factually true, and always do that because there is no other option.